Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our webinar this afternoon. We're going to wait just a couple of minutes before we get started with the content and give everybody an opportunity to join in. All right, well, Brooke, are you ready to get started today?
Let's do it.
All right, well, again, thank you everybody for spending your lunchtime with us. I also realize it's the end of the week, but we're excited to share some information with you. So let's get started. All right, so today you have joined us. We are going to have our virtual career lab today. We're presenting on Handshake. We're going to go over a little bit about the most important aspects of Handshake. We're actually going to tell you what Handshake is. So let's dive into what this is. First and foremost, let's...
Suze, I don't see your presentation.
Really? Oh. Well, Brooke, that may be. What do you see, Brooke?
I see your TU login.
Huh.
Hang on.
Why don't you see if you can pull it up?
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Thinking about it. Okay.
That's okay.
All right, you're good to go.
Awesome. Okay. See, I always need somebody who can bail me out every once in a while when we have technical difficulties. That's why we have two people online. All right. So we're going to talk about Handshake today. And Brooke's going to have to do a little driving here for me. So if you'll go ahead and flip to the next slide. So everybody who's joining us today, you are in listen only mode. That's just so that there's not anybody who's chatting other than us, but you can ask questions throughout, or you can wait till the end of the presentation. You can enter your questions in the chat box. This presentation is being recorded, and it's going to be available on our Kane Careers site after the presentation has been finished. And we upload all of our virtual career labs on our Kane Careers site. So what we're going to go over today is we're going to go over the Handshake profile. We're going to talk about what it is and the things that you should include on it. We're going to talk about our virtual Kane Career Fair that is upcoming and how your Handshake profile can assist you with virtual career fair. And then we're also going to talk about how to use Handshake to apply for a job or an internship. You want to go to the next slide, Brooke? So just a little bit about your presenters today. First of all, my name is Cassandra Crawford Sigler. I am one of the career coaches in the Center for Career Development and Professional Engagement. I am the career coach who helps students who are interested in health sciences and pre-health professions. I have a lot of experience in that area, over 20 years. So I've worked in a variety of health professions. I am a registered dietitian by trade, and I am also somebody who, if you are interested in kind of like bribing me to help you out, you just come to me and bring me some chocolate, and I'm definitely your girl. So Brooke, I'll let you take over and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Brooke Smart. I am the career coach for the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm a TU double alum. I was also a student athlete when I went to school here. So I played softball here at TU. And then as I've kind of evolved through my professional career, I have spent several years coaching at TU, as well as I spent the last 5 years teaching math at a high school just outside of Tulsa. So I've kind of drawn on both of my degrees in both facets. So really just here today to kind of provide some direction on how Handshake can really be leveraged in your benefit.
So, Brooke, before we get down deep into filling out a Handshake profile, before I dive into this, can you tell our participants and those who decide to watch this later exactly what Handshake is at the University of Tulsa and how it might differ from other profiles as LinkedIn and what the students are going to be able to use it for?
You bet. So Handshake serves as TU's campus-wide platform that we use not only to get connected with our office, but also to connect you with future employers for jobs and internships. It's also a place where we can post on-campus employment. So this resource serves as a really good tool for all students and even alumni. We can get you plugged into this as well, to really get you connected in the sense of trying to find those companies who are seeking graduates or students at TU to fill the roles in their company. And so it's a targeted way, much more so the fact that you're not out on LinkedIn or Indeed applying against maybe 12,000 other applicants. It's narrowed down so you have a greater shot, and a lot of these companies are very targeted to the fact that they want TU students. So that's the beauty of Handshake. It provides a platform for us to get you connected. It also provides a space for us to share some events and things like that with you. And so we're talking about your profile today so that when you do reach out to these employers or try to get connected for internships or employment opportunities, there is something there for them to reference to see the qualities that you bring to the table.
Perfect. Thanks for explaining that, Brooke. So definitely Handshake provides basically a leg up for students basically from the freshman year through their senior year and even beyond, because students have access to career services as alumni. So this is a resource that's available and a benefit to students even after beyond graduation, because career services serves you from the second that you've set foot on campus and even beyond. So that's why Handshake is such a crucial part of your journey here at the University of Tulsa. That being said, I'd like to kind of go over the 101s of your Handshake profile. So to get started on Handshake, first of all, every student has access to Handshake. Once you get admitted to the university, you are pulled in and you have access to your account. So you log in by accessing and visiting the site utulsa.joinhandshake.com, and you log in by using your TU email account. Once you get there, filling out the information, it is similar to if you've ever looked at a LinkedIn profile, but it prompts you through each section. So in the name and photo section, some things they're going to prompt you to put in is your name. This will be completed for you. You want to check and make sure that all that information is correct. You want to put in a photo, because the people who are going to be looking at this want to see who you are. So make sure that you put in a professional looking photo. That is something that our office does help with. We normally, when we're on campus, do headshots, but we also have tips and tricks on how you can take a professional headshot yourself at home. You want to add that photo, because if your photo is there, you're 7 times more likely to be viewed by someone who is searching for a candidate for a job or an internship. In the education section, you want to list all schools that you're attending. You want to start with the most current one that you're attending. So obviously that would be the University of Tulsa. And if you've attended any other schools where you've transferred from, if you've gotten an associate's degree somewhere, you want to list those as well. We encourage you to list your GPA, whether you choose to share that information or not, because that Some jobs want that information, the GPA information, but you can choose whether you share that information or not on each school that you list. The next sections are work experiences, organizations, and extracurriculars, and course projects. These are all things that you have the opportunity to build on while you're here at the university. So when you're putting in work experiences, you may not have a whole lot when you first get started. So that's something that your career coach can help you decide what we should put in here, what's going to be the most maximum effect that you can put in. But making bulleted statements, things that you have done, and you want to use action verbs in here to catch the attention of somebody who's looking at your Handshake profile. That's what we're going to be putting in here. And you want to put your work experiences in reverse chronological order. So what that means, just like your education, you're going to put your experiences in the most recent, going down to what you've done further along in the past. In your organizations and extracurriculars, this is a time for you to really shine, things that you've been involved in that have given you those skills that you may not have done tangible, but you've learned other skills that are going to help you relate to what you're seeking for in a future job or an internship. These are going to be things where you've learned global and cultural experiences, or you have had the opportunity to work in group settings, you learned leadership skills. So this is really important to shine and highlight all of these experiences that you've had. Volunteer would go here as well, where you've participated in things in the community, whether it has been in a club or an organization such as Greek Live. Make sure that you spell out what these clubs and organizations are. Don't let them just be known by their abbreviations, because whoever's looking at this information may not be familiar with what those abbreviations stand for. And then finally, courses and projects. You want to highlight things that you've invested quite a bit of time on, whether it's a research project or a community project that you spent a lot of time on. This is an opportunity for you to highlight that information and showcase outcomes where you have had outcomes from this and have made an impact somewhere from this. And then finally, some other things that exist on Handshake. You have the opportunity to fill out your bio. You just want to write a few sentences about yourself so that they know a little bit about you and what you are seeking. You also want to fill out the skills section, any skills that you have gained while you're here at the institution, also that you've gained from internships, from other jobs. You want to highlight any languages that you speak. So you want to click on any of those skills so that they know anything else that you've not told them in the other areas. And you can also include social links. So if you have a completed LinkedIn profile, this is where you can link it to as well, so that they have the opportunity to see both. On the skills, you want to make sure that these are professional skills. And on the social links, you want to make sure that you are keeping everything on a professional level. If you have a Handshake profile and you have a LinkedIn profile, you want to make sure that you're telling the same story. So anything that's on your Handshake and anything that's on LinkedIn, make sure the content is professional, make sure it's appropriate, and your stories match right up. When you are completing your Handshake profile, you have the opportunity to keep your content public versus private. So that is your decision. Employers are approved and vetted by the University of Tulsa, and they contact students and can search public profiles. If you change your visibility anytime, that's your decision, but they have to be able to search your profile. And if you want to keep things private, that is absolutely your decision. Brooke, I'm going to toss it over to you right now to move into the next section.
All right, so we are going to spend a little bit of time kind of giving you a head start, so to speak, on this virtual career fair opportunity that we are bringing to you towards the end of September. It's September 24th. So just to give you guys an idea, typically the career fair has been an in-person event. You show up, you check in, there's several employers, you walk around, hand out your resumes, have conversations, collect some business cards. And so it's going to look a little different this year, as we know, as everything has changed somewhat into this virtual age of what we know right now. And so these are going to be some tips and tricks for this new platform of this virtual career fair. So first off, the first thing that Handshake recommends that you do is to make sure that you have an updated Handshake profile, which is the reason why we're hitting on that quite a bit today. It's going to be one of the first things that those recruiters can look at to see if you would be a good fit for the internship or job that they are bringing to the career fair to talk to different applicants about. So if you can update that with all of your skill sets and different pieces that build into your profile, then they're going to have a better idea of whether or not you would be a good fit for them. It also encourages you to make sure that things are accurate, like your graduation date, your school year, your major, and your GPA, and your work authorization status. A lot of those pieces are uploaded by our office into Handshake. So if you do have any issues with those, just let us know. We'll make sure we get them fixed, but they should be all correct and ready to go. The biggest thing that you could do as far as your profile goes is identify some of your interests. So if there are job types or locations and or roles that you are interested in, if you can mark those, it helps give employers an idea of what you're looking for. Now, I would caution you on this. You certainly don't want to put in so many that you filter yourself out of an opportunity. So make sure you leave those things somewhat open unless you know exactly that you want to stay in a certain area. You're only looking for a certain type of job. So just keep that in mind, is you want to provide information for opportunities, but you certainly don't want to make it to where you're filtering yourself out of a search either. And the next piece is find out which employers are attending. So I'm actually going to hop out of our presentation and jump into Handshake so I can show you guys where you can find this. So I'm going to stop sharing, and then we're going to jump on to, hold on. Okay, can we see my Handshake profile? Okay, so when you guys log into Handshake, this is what it should look like from a student's perspective. If you are looking to get to the career fair, you're going to click on this events button right here. It's going to take you into all of the events listed on Handshake. And from there, you're actually going to jump into where it says right up here, it's nicely labeled career fair. How convenient, right? So we click on that, it pops it up, the Virtual King Career Fair, that's us. So we click on this Virtual King Career Fair, okay? Me as a student, I am already registered, so this button right here would normally be blue and it would say register. It'll ask you a few questions, but the beauty of this is, now I can scroll down here, it says employers attending, and I can click show all 45. Now I have a list of every single employer who is showing up for this virtual career fair, and I can tell you right now that the list is growing daily. So there are more and more adding each day. So your goal is to go in here and read through these companies and see if they are a good fit for you, or they might have an opportunity that's interesting for you to get into. Don't rule anybody out. You might be surprised at what different companies are hiring for. So make sure you do your research and look to see what kind of jobs and internships they have posted, okay? So you can click into these companies. As you click into them, or you can follow them, it will show you what kind of internships and jobs they have posted, which will give you a good idea about that. Okay, so if I go back to our presentation and jump into this again, are we back to the presentation? Okay, so the next piece would be to research those employers that you meet. So now that you know where to find them, you can easily go through and figure out which ones are the best fit for you. And the beauty of this is, for this virtual career fair, I'm going to give you a little bit of inside knowledge. You're actually going to go in and sign up for your sessions. There's two different kinds of sessions. You'll have one-on-ones and you'll have group sessions. If you sign up for a one-on-one, it's you and that recruiter for 10 minutes, all to yourself. It's You don't have people standing in line behind you trying to figure out when they get their chance to have a conversation, okay? You get 10 minutes of that conversation. You can ask questions. They're going to do the same thing. You're going to find out what they're about, what their position is about, anything you ever wanted to know. And the group sessions are kind of up to the employers. They can do an info session. They can do a group chat. It's totally up to you. There can be up to 50 people in those group sessions. So it may not be that you are one of a few in there. There could be quite a few people in there depending on the company. So things to keep in mind. If you do your research ahead of time, you can get plugged into one of those one-on-ones and make sure that you have that time with that recruiter, which I think is going to be a big deal. And then in that same sense, for preparing for those one-on-ones, you want to prepare a few talking points. And so the biggest piece to this is it's your elevator pitch. What are you going to say that is really going to give you a chance to stand out and make an impact on them? And I always remember this as, you know, it's not always about what you say or what you did, but how you can make them feel. And so if you can say something that's going to make a connection for those recruiters, that they're going to be like, yeah, that kid gets it. They get what we're about, or they have an understanding of what we do, and they're asking very pointed questions about things that are detailed into our company. The more research you do, the more you can show that you've extended that effort. You put together some talking pieces for them, and you have those in front of you. And the beauty of being at home, you can do this from your computer, and you can have notes. You can have notes about each company that you're going to talk to. It's a great opportunity to really make that connection with these companies. So that's kind of the first piece of this virtual career fair. And if you join us again on September 15th, I believe it's the 15th.
Yes.
We are doing a training all about how to get signed up and get connected and plugged in with these companies. So keep an eye out for that, because that's going to be a really good one as well.
Hey, Brooke, I just wanted to chime in. You told them really great information about the groups versus the one-on-ones. Really wanted to drive home, you know, the career fair is for all of our students, from freshmen to senior and alumni as well. But why would a freshman or a sophomore want to attend these sessions if they're, you know, really not career seeking just yet? Why would attending a group session be beneficial for them?
So a group session would be really awesome in the sense of, if you aren't sure what you're looking for, this is a great chance to get in front of companies and kind of see what they're about. What's the message they're putting out? What kind of information do they want to know about their potential interns? So if you're not looking for an internship opportunity, I would encourage you to still attend the career fair and jump in on some of the group sessions and see what they're looking for. See what they're talking about. What kind of information are they putting out about their companies? You're going to learn a lot from that. It's also going to take off the nerves from it. So let's say that we end up in this same spot next year and we're doing the virtual career fair again. Now you have that same opportunity to do it, but the edge isn't there anymore. You've kind of gotten away from, this is my first time doing all this stuff. You are familiar with it and you're ready to go. So there are definite benefits to it. Every company is going to have a group session, so you can jump in as many as you want, obviously, as long as they're not scheduled at the same time. So just things to keep in mind. It's a really great opportunity. And honestly, it's never too early to get experience. So even if you are a freshman or sophomore, get out there. If you go and you get experience and you love it, awesome. And if you hate it, at least you know you don't have to look for that experience anymore. Okay? So use it as filtering opportunities. It is all about input and output, right? You bring it in. If it was good, we keep looking for it. If it was not so good, we take that in and filter it and say, okay, we don't have to look at those types of experiences anymore. So there's never really a bad outcome. Okay? Just helps you refine your search.
Thank you.
All right. And speaking of searches, we all know that the end goal is really to find a job, right? So with that in mind, we're going to talk a little bit about applying for jobs on Handshake. So just like you would look for the career fair and the events, you're going to look for jobs or internships in the job section. So I'm actually going to step back out. I wonder if I can get to it from this here. Okay. So if we are back on the home screen, all right, you can click this job section right here, or you can click the one at the top. They both take you to the same place, so totally up to you. Use personal preference on that one. I personally like bubbles, so I go with those. You have an option here. And so this is my student profile. I think right now I'm signed up as a senior psychology student, which was not my degree. It just happened to be what I selected for that day. So Handshake will automatically push things to you that fit your year and your degree and the different interests that you post, so whether that's roles or location. It also will help push things based on the skills that you put in there. So these things right here are things that it's pushing towards me based on my profile. Okay. Now, if I was looking for something in specific, okay, you can use the search option. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with the search bar. Let's say, for instance, if I'm going to stick with psychology. Oops, if I click. Okay. If I'm searching for psychology, and let's say I want to get specific on this, and I'm going to pick a location, and let's say I want to do Tulsa. Okay, you type in Tulsa, it's going to filter your search within 50 miles. You click, and you can change it to up to 100. Click show results. Right now it's looking for full-time jobs and internships because I haven't specified. Let's say I wanted an internship. Okay. So right now it doesn't find anything as a psychology internship for someone in my year in Tulsa. But if I click full-time job, there are 8 just in the Tulsa area. And so again, you can filter these. If you are looking for a remote position, you include remote and take off the location filter. Because if it's a remote role, you can be anywhere, right? So all of this to say, if you are interested in a job, so let's say that I want to be a licensed mental health professional, okay? So I would click on this. It tells you some details about it. So the application deadline is September 30th. It was posted last year. This tells you the estimated salary. So I'm feeling pretty good about things. Okay, you can read more about the role, all of the things that it entails, the full job description. It will tell you how you match up. So based on my GPA and my work authorization, my year and my major, okay, depending on where you're at. And then it will tell you a little bit about the company. So it tells you about Grand Lake Mental Health Center. Okay, and then you can click apply. And so as you click apply, every piece has a different process. So I'm gonna go back to our presentation. So every job application has a little bit of a different process. So we're actually here. So there is a quick apply option, which will basically like streamlines all of your information, and a lot of it's imported from Handshake. There is an apply option, which is very similar to the role that we just said, where you're gonna have to input a lot of your information. Or there's an apply externally, which means they're gonna take you to that company's website. You're gonna go through their application process. Every company is different on how they set things up, so it may look different each time, and that's totally fine. The more that you start applying for these things, you'll notice that every process is pretty similar, and that it may be a few tweaks here and there, but for the most part, they are all pretty much the same. They all typically ask for the same types of things. So, and then the last but not least part of it is after you submit your application through Handshake, if it is one that is being submitted through Handshake, you'll get a notification that your application was confirmed. Okay, and so you get some nice notifications like that when companies link things up through Handshake, just giving you some confirmation that yes, they got it. I would say that for the most part, most companies have some kind of system that will kick you back, thank you for applying, and you'll get some kind of response that they have received your materials. If they don't panic. Doesn't mean they didn't get it. Give them a little time. If you don't hear anything, you can always follow up. Okay. All right. So our last piece is obviously that if you guys have any questions, that now would be your chance to ask. But these are our handles. So if you want to follow us on social media, we're posting anything and everything related to our social media events, our events on social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. They're all King Careers. And then you can email us at kingcareers@utulsa.edu. That is our office phone number. And then if you are looking to get connected with a mentor, UTulsa Connect is a great platform to do that. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the Q&A, and we'll get them answered.
Thank you, Brooke, for going over all that wonderful information and for answering my questions.
You bet.
We will give it just a couple of seconds here and see if anybody pops any questions in our Q&A box.
And I can reiterate this too. I know we talked quite a bit today on your Handshake profile. The nice piece about this is If you haven't started a resume, it kind of gives you an outline for it. If you have started a resume, you can pull that information straight into Handshake and just build off of it. So they kind of go both ways. If you haven't, this is a great place to start because you start plugging things in. Then it makes creating a resume really easy. If you already have a resume, you just pull that information into Handshake. So it goes really smoothly both ways, but it is a benefit to getting started. And again, it's going to come back to help quite a bit as you get into things. It looks like we've got a question, C. So do you have any recommendations on how to prepare for the one-on-one sessions during the career fair?
Actually, I do. Preparing for the one-on-one sessions for the career fair, you could make an appointment with your career coach. That would pretty much be practicing for a mock interview. So I would highly encourage you to make an appointment with your career coach and take that opportunity to practice some elevator pitches and practice some interview questions so that you have the opportunity whenever you're talking with that recruiter, you have taken off some of the nerves and whenever they are talking with you about the company and your interest in the company, you had an opportunity to practice with your career coach some of those questions and you've had an opportunity to think through what your answers are in advance. You don't want to be so rehearsed that you sound mechanical, but you have that opportunity to work through those questions and styles with your career coach.
I would agree, and I think this is also where that research in that company comes back to be helpful as well. You know, you want to ask questions that show that you did your research, but also allow them a place to talk. And like any other interview, it is a conversation between two people, so have an authentic sense of curiosity, and I think that goes a long way. Most people are pretty flattered that they want to know more information about them, and so that's going to be a big piece of it as well.
I would agree. Definitely that you are interested in their company, that you are interested in them. I mean, you're wanting to give information about yourself, but you're also there to learn. Well, we got to thank you. You're very welcome.
You bet.
Well, if we do not have any more questions today, I am going to say thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us on a Friday afternoon. We really appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you. Again, this recording will be available on the kingcareers.com website for review and to share with your classmates and to share with alumni. So, Brooke, thank you for joining me today and sharing your wealth of knowledge and information. And we look forward to seeing you next time in one of our virtual career labs.
You bet. Thank you.